Hello, welcome to the first part of the tutorial on the Liquify feature. All the features on this bar I love. I use them in almost all of my wallpapers and they are so vital to what I do. So today we're going to talk about the push feature. So just to get set up, we're going to want to go into our brushes and just pick any brush you want, probably one that's kind of dynamic, has something to it, not just a random line. But as long as there's different colors, different ways you're doing the brush, it should be fine. So just put down some colors. I put down some green and yellow and pink and red. So then we're going into the bar and we're going to push Liquefied. Now there are 4 bars in this push feature. It is size, pressure, distortion, and momentum. All of these can change how it affects when you're changing something in your painting or your digital art. So first we're going to deal with size. The size, obviously, if you make it little, then it'll only change a little tiny bit, as you can see here. So then if we make it bigger though, then it'll totally change it. And depending on how you move this, whether in a circular motion or whether you move it against how you did the brush or with the brush, it totally changes it. This is a good feature for making your strokes look smoother and together, but you have to make sure you're doing it with the brush and not against it. So we're going to reset. And now we're dealing with pressure. Pressure is basically, how I like to think of it, is if you have an Apple Pencil or even your finger, the iPad or phone or whatever you're using senses how much pressure you do. So this is basically that, but you can adjust it however you want. So little pressure, it is only going to affect your thing a little bit. With the bigger size, it'll affect it more than the littler size, but it'll still only affect it littler. So the pressure on half will do less than the pressure on full. I usually keep my pressure on full because I either want to do big movements or I turn the size down and change it. So this can change a lot of how it works. If you have your pressure on low, you need to make sure it's where you want it. If you're trying to make big movements, pressure on low will not work at all. Next is distortion, and this feature I love. It has formed so many of my wallpapers. It is so nice. I love it. So this basically, surprise, surprise, distorts what you're moving and pushing. So if you take the size too much and then move against how you put the brush down, it'll just distort it in ways you can't even imagine. And if you go with the grain, then it does it a different way. If you do the feature slowly, then that also affects things. So I just like to play around with this and see how it goes. Next is momentum. So this you can't see as well, but if I stop moving, I stop touching my screen, it still keeps going. So you can see the little circle. I stopped there, but it still went. So this feature is great for when you want kind of a randomness, and it affects it one different way. So let's play around a little bit. Distortion with momentum. It can move without you, so then you don't know how it will distort. So to, let's say, make a wallpaper I might do, we're going to change the size to max. And I don't really like how that looks. So change the size a little bit less. Distort it, none. And then that looks alright. So let's distort it a little bit. Turn it like that. And then you've got little waves all across your screen. And that's maybe some wallpaper that I would do. And then make 3 to the public. So the push feature is amazing, just like all of the Liquify features. It is very good, and you can do so many things. So I encourage you, do different brushes, do different colors, do different things, and you will never get bored. Now, what I covered today is how I use it. There are tons of ways to use it, and depending on how you use it, there's different ways. So if you're making a landscape, there's probably one way for that. If you're making colorful wallpapers, well, I just showed you. That's my way. So I encourage you to go look, see how other people do it, and have fun.